My general approach to any kind of like deal or whatever is just make sure there's clarity of understanding. That's the most important thing.
Right.
And just keep any kind of deal very, very short and simple, plain language. And just make sure everyone understands this is the deal. Is it clear? I'd encourage people to read a lot of books. Just read, basically try to ingest as much information as you can. And try to also just develop a good general knowledge. Try to learn a little bit about a lot of things. Because you might not know what you're really interested in. How would you know what you're really interested in if you at least aren't like doing a peripheral exploration of broadly of the knowledge landscape? Maybe read through the condensed version of the Encyclopedia Britannica. I'd recommend that. You can always like skip subjects where you read a few paragraphs and you know you're not interested, just jump to the next one. And you talk to people from different walks of life and different industries and professions and skills and occupations. Like just try learn as much as possible. I would encourage people to read broadly in many different subject areas, and then try to find something where there's an overlap of your talents and what you're interested in. So people may be good at something, or they may have skill at a particular thing, but they don't like doing it. So you want to try to find a thing where that's a good combination of the things that you're inherently good at, but you also like doing. But I put a lot of stock and certainly have a lot of respect for someone who puts in an honest day's work to do useful things, to do things that are useful to your fellow human beings, to the world. It's very hard to be useful. To try to have a positive net contribution to society. I think that's the thing to aim for. Not to try to be sort of a leader just for the sake of being a leader or whatever. If you can live a useful life, that is a good life. A life worth having lived. The people you want as leaders are the people who don't want to be leaders. Something needs to happen, or just the civilization's arteries just harden over time. And you can just get less and less done because there's just a rule against everything. Regulators and legislators create new rules and regulations every year, but they don't put effort into removing them. If rules and regulations just accumulate every year, and you get more and more of them, then eventually you won't be able to do anything. You're just like Gulliver with, tied down by thousands of little strings. We need a garbage collection function for rules and regulations. They should not just be immortal. Because some of the rules and regulations that are put in place will be counterproductive. Done with good intentions, but counterproductive. Sometimes not done with good intentions. But it gets tough because you get special interests that then are dependent on, like they have a vested interest in that whatever rule and regulation, and that they fight to not get it removed. Usually deals are, business deals or whatever are way too long and complex and overly lawyered and pointlessly. That's really not how I think about things. I don't care about optimism or pessimism. We're going to get it done. We should just keep doing it, or die trying. What will often happen in trying to design a product is people will start with the tools and parts and methods that they are familiar with, and then try to create a product using their existing tools and methods. The other way to think about it is actually try to imagine the platonic ideal of the perfect product, and say, what is the perfect arrangement of atoms that would be the best possible product? And now let us try to figure out how to get the atoms in that shape. Just as a function of inertia, people will want to use the same tools and methods that they are familiar with. That's what they'll do by default.
Yeah.
And then that will lead to an outcome of things that can be made with those tools and methods, but is unlikely to be the platonic ideal of the perfect product. It's good to think of things in both directions. So like, what can we build with the tools that we have? But also, what is the theoretical perfect product look like? And then saying, okay, now what tools, methods, materials, whatever, do we need to create in order to get the atoms in that shape? But people rarely think about it that way. But it's a powerful tool. And that theoretical perfect product is going to be a moving target, because as you learn more, the definition of or for that perfect product will change, because you don't actually know what the perfect product is, but you can successfully approximate a more perfect product. I would encourage people to use the mental tools of physics and apply them broadly in life. They're the best tools. I think I have a pretty deep understanding of what money actually is on a practical day-to-day basis because of PayPal. And people often will think of money as having power in and of itself. It does not. If you're stranded on a desert island with no food, all the Bitcoin in the world will not stop you from starving. Applying the physics tools of thinking about things in the limit is helpful. If you are stranded on a tropical island and you have $1 trillion, it's useless, because there's no resource allocation. Money is a database for resource allocation. Crypto is an attempt to reduce the error in money that is contributed by governments diluting the money supply as basically a pernicious form of taxation. Well, the government effectively has editing privileges on the money database, and they use those editing privileges to make more money whenever they want. And this increases the error in the database that is money. The reality is, at this point, the world is producing far more food than it can really consume. Like, we don't have a caloric constraint at this point. So where there is hunger, it is almost always due to it's like civil war or strife. It's extremely rare for it to be just a matter of lack of money. There's a civil war in some country, and like one part of the country is literally trying to starve the other part of the country. It's not that nobody's hungry anywhere. It's just this is not a simple matter of adding money and solving it. Food is extremely cheap these days. It's like I mean, the U.S. at this point, among low-income families, obesity is actually another problem. It's not like obesity it's not hunger. Good questions are, it's hard to come up with good questions. The universe is the answer, and what we really need to figure out are what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe.
Yeah.
And that the question is really the hard part. And if you can properly frame the question, then the answer, relatively speaking, is easy. So therefore, if you want to understand what questions to ask about the universe, you want to understand the meaning of life, we need to expand the scope and scale of consciousness so that we're better able to understand the nature of the universe and understand the meaning of life. That is the foundation of my philosophy, is that I am curious about the nature of the universe. The reason I guess I care about us becoming a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization is, foundationally, I love humanity. Yeah. All things considered. And I've read a lot of history, including the darkest, worst parts of it. And despite all that, I think on balance, I still love humanity. I wish to see it prosper and do great things and be happy. And if I did not love humanity, I would not care about these things. And obviously I will die. I don't know when I'll die, but I won't live forever. But I would like to know that we're on a path to understanding the nature of the universe and the meaning of life and what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe. But we don't just want to have with Mars flags and footprints, and then and not come back for a half century like we did with the moon. In order to pass a very important great filter, I think we need to be a multi-planet species. This is the first time in 4.5 billion years that it's been possible to extend life beyond Earth. And that window of opportunity may be open for a long time, and I hope it is, but it also may be open for a short time. And we should, I think it was wise for us to act quickly while the window is open. Eventually, given enough time, there's something, the Earth is likely to experience some calamity. That could be something that humans do to themselves, or an external event like happened to the dinosaurs. I think most likely the future will be good. But there's, like, let's say for argument's sake, a 1% chance per century of a civilization ending event. Like, that was Stephen Hawking's estimate. I think he might be right about that. And we can bring the creatures from plants and animals from Earth to Mars and breathe life into the planet, and have a second planet with life to create a self-sustaining civilization. I'm not sure this will really happen in my lifetime, but I hope to see it at least have a lot of momentum. The self-sustaining part is important. Like, it's just the key threshold. The great filter will have been passed when the city on Mars can survive even if the spaceships from Earth stop coming for any reason. It would be a new frontier and an opportunity to rethink the whole nature of government, just as was done in the creation of the United States. So if we expand the scope and scale of humanity and consciousness in general, which includes silicon consciousness, then that seems like a fundamentally good thing.